you want to know whether you are a morning lark or a night owl, well, statistically speaking, 40% of the population are morning larks. They have genes that predispose them to be morning larks. 10% have genes that predispose them to be more of a night owl, and it gets even smaller. For a true night owl, it could be as little as 1 in 75. And so we have genetics, genes such as clock genes, cry genes, PER3, BMAL1, all influence whether you are going one way or the other. And then we have a 50% chunk of the population that have genes that are kind of mixed up, and so they're neither morning lark or night owl. Now, fortunately, we know this 50% chunk of people still does better when they go to bed early and they wake up early in terms of immune system function, disease resistance, emotional stability, physical performance and recovery. So we know that even in that 50% chunk, they're still better off becoming more like a morning lark than a night owl. So why is it like a large chunk of the population thinks that they are a night owl? And that's because of your environment. If we remember, we've got two things that influence our chronotype: our genetics that we talked about and our environment. Now, unfortunately, the environment of many people is pushing them towards night owls, even though we've just discovered 90% of the people would be better off being morning larks. We have terrible internal lighting that is blue light heavy. We have screens that are also blue light heavy. We have filtered windows that are filtering out large chunks of light and causing the light inside to be blue light heavy. All these things negatively affect circadian rhythm and shift your circadian rhythm into something more akin to a night owl. And shifting a large portion of the population into night owl behavior is only going to have, and we see it, is only going to have negative health impacts in the long term. So, what can we do? To test whether you are truly a night owl or whether you are part of the 90%, we can do some really simple things. The first would be setting yourself a week where you are going to go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day for 7 days, regardless whether it's weekend or weekdays. You're going to go to bed sometime between 10 and 11, hopefully between 10 and 10:30. You're going to wake up sometime between 6:30 and 7:30, but not with an alarm, hopefully. Hopefully what your body will do is wake up naturally because you went to bed at the right time for you, or a time that is beneficial for you and your body. Next up, what we want to do is get rid of any overhead lighting and go to lighting that is on a table or on the floor, some low-level lighting, and we get it as dim as possible and as warm in tone as possible. So reds and oranges, ambers, etc., etc. And we want to do that, and we want to get rid of screens roughly an hour before you're going to bed. So put those low-level lights on, read, listen to music, communicate with your partner if you're lucky enough to have a partner. And if we do those two things, and we basically just are aware of how we feel in the morning, whether we feel rejuvenated, whether we feel well rested, whether we feel motivated. And if you do feel any of those things throughout the week as you get used to going to bed and waking up at the same time, then that probably indicates that you are one of the 90% that's either true morning lark or at least the 50% that is somewhere in between that would benefit from early evenings and early morning starts. If you don't and you still feel the same, then maybe you are one of the 10% that is a true night owl. I hope that helps.